My topic this morning is we call it the Peter Pan theory. So this is essentially where it's about belief in business and in life. Okay, so here's a short story about that. So you guys have heard of Peter Pan, I'm assuming, and there's a movie out there. It's called Hook. Now it's an older movie, so if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend you got to look back into the '90s. Okay, there's a scene where there's Peter Pan, right? He's sitting around the table, and there's a bunch of the Lost Boys sitting there with him, and they're eating, right? There's a bunch of but everyone's sitting around and they're all just grubbing and eating and stuff. And Peter Pan's looking around and he doesn't see anything. He's like, "What are you guys doing?" They're like, "We're eating, Peter. What?" He dig in. He's like, "I don't see any food." And they're like, "Dude, there's food everywhere." He said, "There's all kinds of stuff over there." And he's like, "Well, I don't see anything." And one of the Lost Boys looks over at Peter and said, "Peter, you have to believe. You have to believe." And Peter was like, "Well, okay." And so he said, "Well, try, Peter. You just got to believe that the food is there. You have to believe it's there." And everybody says, "Peter, believe, believe, believe." So Peter Pan, he closes his eyes and he just starts believing there's plenty of food on the table. And then he opens his eyes and wow, he starts to see mashed potatoes and turkey and ham and spaghetti and cake and pie. And there's food everywhere. And he's like, "Oh my gosh, it's really there." And he's like, "Right, Peter, you're believing. It's working." Well, that's our business. That's business in life. When you start to believe in business, it believes in you. When you believe in our core value marketing systems, it will believe in you and you will start to grow and things will start to happen. But when you doubt, that's when things don't show up. That's when things aren't working for you. That's when you don't see it. It's because you're doubting the ability, you're doubting the business, you're doubting your chances of being better, you're doubting everything about yourself. But when you start to believe in having faith in what you're doing, that's when things show up. That's when everything starts to happen for you. So I simply just call it the Peter Pan theory. Once you believe in what you're doing, things will happen for you. That's my message.